All right. So social media is really starting to take over the world a little bit. And right now it's facing a lot of changes, from a potential ban of TikTok in the US to banning kids off of social media. Governor Ron DeSantis just on Monday signed a new bill into law that keeps kids under the age of 14 off of social media. So there's a whole lot of changes going on. And today I have with me a couple of local influencers who we're going to be speaking with just kind of about these changes and where social media is headed nowadays. And I want to start by talking about keeping kids off of social media. There's been a whole lot of research about mental health and social media and the negative impacts it can have on children. Alayna, I want to start with you. You are a mom, and I want to just kind of hear your thoughts about, kids and social media.
Yeah. So I have two kids. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I know that with my 8-year-old, we are quickly approaching the age when he's going to be curious about social media, when he's going to want to know if he can be on it. Surely all of his friends will be on it, and he's going to start asking. And personally, just because I am so involved in social media, I think I'm going to be really cautious and probably wait until my kids are much older before I let them get on, just because I know that there is a lot of good on social media, but there can also be a lot of bad. And especially for young kids, I would say probably that age that's like preteen and early teens, it can be really, really damaging to their body image, their mental health. There's been a lot of studies about its impacts. And I think that this is just a great opportunity to start having more of an open dialogue and open conversation about how social media does affect our kids.
Right. And you said that, you see a lot of good in it as well, which honestly, I think, we're all on social media all the time, all of us. And I think that a lot of times people do forget there is some good in social media. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about that too. Maybe De'Andre, could you go into maybe a little bit of what you think are some of the pros for social media?
Yeah, I mean, social media for me is another form of income. So, being able to brand yourself, kind of getting yourself out there to your fans or, your followers in that sense is huge on my part because, like I said, it does contribute to my livelihood. It does contribute to my day to day, and it also helps me be more personal with people that I interact with because, you know, the media, the news can say whatever they want, but then if you come on your own platform and you speak from your heart and from yourself, then I feel like the fan base can kind of, feel that a little bit more because it's coming from your mouth than someone else's. So I think that's a pro to where you can kind of speak your mind and be yourself. And it's helped me a lot. And I'm sure it's helped these ladies a lot as well, to kind of just speak your mind.
Right. Meg, what about you?
I see both sides of it. I think personally, social media has been great for me to build my community and find information. I've been able to connect with people from all around the world and make new friends that I probably wouldn't have otherwise connected with. So it can be really great in that regard. However, I'm also an adult using this platform with intention, whereas if I was younger, and not having all these tools and resources and knowledge that I have, I probably would be using it differently. So I can see where the dilemma comes in when it comes to having children on this platform, because your brain is not fully formed until you're 25. So there's a lot that could happen, and there's a lot of negative consequences that social media could influence you and have on you at a younger age than maybe it could at an older age. So I see both sides of it. A lot of great has come from social media, but it's all in your intention and how you use it.
Yeah, I think you made such a good point there, especially when you said, right now you're an adult and you're using social media with an intention. And I think that, a lot of younger kids maybe don't know all the dangers it could pose just yet. And I think that, Alayna, you made a good point too when you said, at least that this is now opening up that conversation to speak with kids about it. There's so many ways that you can edit photos. You can make your life look so grand when really it just wasn't. I can't tell you how many times there's been like girls' trips that I see on my friends' social media. And I'm like, wow, that looks so fun. They get back and they're just like, that was the worst trip I've ever had in my life. And you would never know. I think that, with experience, you start learning that. But as a kid, you don't know that yet. And you just think everyone's life is so perfect and great and wow, they have the best body, but that just might not be it.
Yeah, I think that we often forget that social media is just a highlight reel. Most people are not sharing the negative, real life struggles that they're going through. And so when we see just all this good and heavily filtered and perfectly posed, it can make you feel bad about yourself. I mean, I struggle with this as an adult. I mean, this is not just something that affects kids, but I, get into the comparison game on social media all the time. Why don't I look like her? And why isn't my life like her? And, oh, I wish I had that. And I mean, that's challenging for us as adults, but for children who don't understand and especially can't point out what's real and what's fake or what's real and what's embellished. I mean, think about how scary some of these AI tools are now, where we're seeing, people who aren't even real people talking, and just like you and I are. And so it's hard for me to spot that out. And how can I expect, a 12 or 13-year-old to pick that out and know, no, that's not real. So I think we need to constantly be talking to them to help them understand and see what's real and when sometimes people are not exactly who they may portray themselves to be.
And kind of to that point too. I mean, the most people you see on social media are influencers. So their job is to influence the community, the younger community. And these kids look up to certain people that they see on television and they see on the internet. And I can't speak for everybody, but everyone's not giving off a positive and uplifting kind of image. So I think that has to be policed a lot more, because there are kids that look up to these people and they go to school, they talk about them, they want to be like them. But if they're seeing it every day and it's getting digested in them every day and it's negative, then that's something that we got to get on top of.
Yeah, I think that the people that are on social media a lot are getting used to the way people look with filters. And then they'll see themselves with a filter and get used to it. And then all of a sudden the filter comes off and now they don't like the way they look, even though they've always looked that way. And they used to like the way they looked, but now in comparison to a filter, which isn't even real, now they want to look like that. And that's really concerning because it's so damaging for your mental health. And now people are wanting all this plastic surgery to look a way that's not even realistic.
Yeah. I think another thing that we need to think about too with kids is that I don't know if they realize the long-term impact of the things that they're posting on social media. I mean, I might be the oldest person on this call. I don't know. But when I was a preteen, we didn't have social media. And I think about all the stupid things I did and I said, and thank God those aren't forever living on the internet somewhere. But now everything we do is online, everything, and it lives there forever. And this is something I'm going to talk about with my kids, is that the things that you're choosing to say on the internet, things that you're choosing to post on the internet, that lives there online forever and can be copied and repurposed. And who knows if one day you're looking for a job or you're getting into a relationship and someone looks you up and that's the first thing that they see. I mean, we're seeing this happen with celebrities all the time, where people are digging back into their old tweets and finding horrific things that they said or posted, and then they're getting canceled for something they did like 15 years ago. So I think we just need to keep talking about the long-term impacts that social media is going to have on us, but also our kids.
Yeah, that's so true.
Doesn't go away.
No. And, even it's Facebook memories pop up and you see your own Facebook statuses, like just hanging out, like
so cringy.
That's all we wrote. Yeah, I think that these are all such important things. And I mean, we did talk about some of the positive things from social media, but I mean, truly, it really can bring someone who would have never met otherwise together, and it really can be collaborative. It can be a space for a lot of information, a lot of education. It's just really about how you use it, and I think that is such an issue with kids. They don't know. They're searching for things that they shouldn't be searching, and then it just ripple effects to something else. And obviously the negative with body image issues and everything. And I think that just overall, while their brains are still developing, I think that it's a great idea to keep them off social media. I think that I do like that the law allows parents the decision for 15 and 16-year-olds. So it's, again, opening up that dialogue between parents and kids before they're even getting on the app. I mean, right now, I have a niece who's young and 10 years old on social media, and all day they're in their phones looking at this and comparing themselves to other kids, and it also makes it so much easier for online bullying. I mean, it's so much easier to do it behind a screen than in someone's face. And I mean, I'm sure some of us on this call have probably been victims of online bullying.
Yeah, people say absolutely heinous things behind a computer, things that
Yeah.
they would never have the audacity to say to your face. People are so cruel on the internet, and they pick you apart for every little thing, your body, the way you speak, the way you look, everything about you. And so, it's a really, really fine line. If you're on social media, especially like these other two, we're on it for work, for business purposes, to promote ourselves or whatnot. And it's hard. You have to have a thick skin because you're basically opening yourself up for the world to comment on your life.
Definitely.
Kids have enough to worry about with puberty, high school, middle school. It's like add on now a bunch of strangers around the world on social media hiding behind their screens. Like, that's just not good.
It can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. I mean, it's a lot for, like I said, for us as adults, and just a kid in that space is, especially a kid that's developing, coming up in high school or preteen or whatever. It's like she said, it's a fine line, because that can determine how you start looking at, life in general. You know what I mean? It can be on one side where you're getting all this praise and you feel like, okay, once I step out of this room, am I going to get that same praise in real life? Or it can be the complete opposite, to where it's like someone's getting on me all day, all day, all day. So when I step out, I feel like I can't do what I need to do. So it's scary. It's scary, but I'm glad they're putting some things in place to kind of minimize that and kind of get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
I think another thing for parents too is to just be super aware and paying attention to what your kids are doing online. My kids love watching YouTube, and they watch some really strange things on YouTube. But every now and then I'll catch them watching a video that is on YouTube Kids, and I'll say, this is weird. This is really creepy. Let's change this. So if you leave them alone and you're not really paying attention to what they're watching and who they're interacting with, you're really allowing an opportunity to come in where they might see something very inappropriate. I think about back in my childhood when social media was AOL chat rooms, and I was chatting with people that I thought were celebrities, and I now know as an adult those were definitely not who they said they were.
Yeah.
But it's even easier now to target children and to weasel your way into someone's messages on social media. And so definitely once my kids are on it, I'm going to be monitoring it, put whatever kind of software I need to have parental controls. But like I said earlier, I think it's just really important that we're having that open dialogue and we're talking to our kids about it. It's so easy with social media to just get stuck and wrapped up in it, and you're just on your phone all the time. And especially if you have little ones, it's like, okay, they're on their phone, they're being quiet. I mean, that's what my kids are doing right now.
Yeah.
So, but we need to be paying attention, checking their history on their phones or on their tablets, and seeing what they're looking at, because it is our job as parents, first and foremost, to protect our kids.
Yeah, it is scary.
Absolutely.
Because it's scary because you're at the mercy of the algorithm. So like you said, you don't really know what they're watching and then what these platforms are going to serve them. It could be anything, and there's nothing you can really do about that except, like you said, monitor it. And I also worry about what these social media platforms, what effects they have on the child's developing brain, because everybody's attention span seems to be getting shorter and shorter with all the short form video content. And I find, and you can look around at people when you're waiting in line or sitting in a doctor's office, everyone is on their phones, just scrolling. Nobody can just sit and be present. You have to always be absorbed in your phone and looking through these social media platforms, consuming content. So the ability to just sit still and sit with yourself and your thoughts is disappearing. And that's concerning for the next generation, because it happens to us as adults. What is it doing to the children?
Yeah, that's such a good point too. I mean, I'm even guilty of constantly being like, like I can't just sit here and just be in silence and do nothing. So I think that is a really good point. So maybe, again, keeping kids off social media for a little bit as they continue to grow can show them, hey, it's okay to sit alone in your thoughts and just kind of like be present in the moment.
Definitely.
Well, what do you guys see like the future of social media? I mean, it's going to continue taking over the world clearly, but is there anything that you guys see of like how it can continue going into more of a positive light?
I think one of the best things that I've seen come out of social media in the couple more recent years is that there's just been a great movement of body positivity. And, for so long growing up, I was just fed toxic messaging, both at home and, through pop culture, that thin is beautiful. And there's one standard of what beautiful looks like. And it's been so nice to see social media starting to evolve. And again, some of it is the algorithm that you're on, but I've seen it really evolve in the last couple of years where there's a lot more of acceptance and there are more bodies and more different lifestyles that are represented on social media. And it's a place where you can really find that community. And so I just think it's really cool to see, especially as Gen Z is starting to, come up of age and step into leadership roles. It's really cool to see the shift of what society views as beautiful or healthy or, whatever. And so it's just great to see that movement. And I hope that we'll continue to trend in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agreed. De'Andre, what about you?
To piggyback off of that, it's where you, like you said, you can find your group, you can find people who think similar as you. It brings everyone together in a common place because, like you said, everyone's on their phone, everybody's scrolling, doing things like that. But I think it can continue to grow to be a healthy space. The algorithm does help a lot with that, with what's being shown and what's being consumed by the viewer and things like that. So I think if it keeps trending in that direction, it can be great. And I guess we just have to see what the future holds. But I think it has a lot more space to become more positive than negative.
And Meg?
We have a big responsibility as adults, as parents, as members of the community to look out for the next generation as well as ourselves and be educated, because we have to remember that while these platforms, to the other creators here and the platforms have been great and they've afforded us a way of life and a career, they also were created as a business with the intention to be engineered to be used a certain way to make money. So we have to be mindful of that and do whatever we can, like having these conversations today, to just really protect ourselves, know healthy boundaries with social media, and know how to raise our children with these platforms.
Great. Well, awesome, guys. Okay, last question. Do you think TikTok is going to be banned in the US?
Ooh, it's going to be a lot of sad people if it is.
I think it makes
No way.
Too much money.
I really hope not. TikTok brings me so much joy, so I really hope not.
I agree. I think that it would be such a shame. And I just think there'd be too many loopholes, There's no way it'll go away.
I'm not worried.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And I hope that I'll share this with you guys and you can all see it and watch it. And hopefully the kids can watch it as well.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you for having us.